fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, see. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
What up, coolest geeks? It is I, Jesse Blaze Snider, the coolest geek alive. How you doing? Sorry, I almost fell in my chair. It's the first time I'm sitting in this chair. I am out visiting my gal and hanging with my babies in California, in Orange County. And excited. We've been hitting Knott's Berry Farm. We got passes, and it's been awesome. If you hear them gently in the background, it's just me with the door open so they don't completely go off on their own and do whatever. But maybe I'll shut my door a little bit. So I'm so excited. We wrapped up our campaign on Kickstarter for our future. We did great. We made $12,000, almost $300. I think like 200 and something, 290 something maybe. And I'm so thrilled. I mean, like, granted, of course, I am always rooting, trying to aim for something even higher and even more. But, I'm happy with what we raised, and people love the book, and we stirred up a little controversy online on like Comicsgate. It was so silly. Somebody just like sort of posed a question to me that our book might get boycotted by Comicsgate because we were on Kickstarter. And I had explained pretty clearly that we had been shadow banned on Indiegogo and really been fucked a few years ago. So I had no interest in using Indiegogo. I was in Kickstarter. I tried to use Fund My Comics when this was said to me during King of Kings, which was our previous campaign. And they didn't do anything for us. Nobody saw it over there, and Kickstarter's a better platform for us. So, I basically made a post saying I would hope that anybody would fucking, take our shit into consideration. And then it ended up getting like turned into this whole thing by a couple of fans of, I guess, Ethan Van Sciver. I'm a fan of Ethan Van Sciver. I love his work. And I like him, as a person. He's a nice guy. He's always been nice to me. On the internet, I think he's a bit, but I mean, like, at this point, it's like a bit. He's just like all in on the other side because fuck you guys. And like, I mean, if you don't see that, you're missing so much. The Comicsgate thing is just a total response to the hardline left that's like, you got to do it this way, you got to think this way, and they just went, fuck you, don't make me think any way that you want me to think. And most of those people are liberal as fuck. They all are. I've met tons of them now, and spoke to tons of them now, promoting this comic and going to a couple comic conventions, and it's just a bunch of comic fans, man. And you've seen what's happened, this really strong pivot and like a cancel culture thing and all this stuff. Like, it's just a badge of honor to be canceled by any of these creators or be blocked by these things. People get blocked by creators and then they share it on their posts. And then you see comments. You don't see it since you've blocked them, but you see like a comment stream of like, I got blocked by them. And all I said was, I got blocked by them, and all I said was, I got blocked. Like, that's like the thing is like, these people are just getting blocked for like relatively innocuous comments in lots of ways and stuff. It's very funny. It's all become a fucking clown show if you're really paying attention to what's going on. And I'm sure so many of my listeners are, because you listen to me and you get a little bit more of a reasoned perspective here. Because obviously, I love everybody. I've just gotten stuck in this stupid Comicsgate and other things. And I immediately I had a friend, Mark Polton, who was in Comicsgate because of his associations. I don't remember who, but like some great friend of his, and he was kind of like, "Hey, I just want you to know, like, I'm like in Comicsgate. I know it's kind of a bit of a problem." And then I got basically asked by some people. I had an artist that I was working with kind of cancel me because of my association with Mark Polk, because I basically said it's kind of a Comicsgate adjacent. It was a job, and he like fucking Oh man, he like we totally went after me. It was so not nice. Because but like Mark Polton's not a racist. He's never done anything bad to me. And I don't really know his people, but I know they're not walking around with swastikas at conventions or anything. I think John Malin is the thing, and people have gotten like annoyed at him, and I know he's like said things, and there's so much fucking drama. I try to stay out of it. So like, forgive me if like you feel like you have a really good reason to hate any of these people. I've stayed out of this drama. My association with, let's say, Ethan Van Sciver is he gave me an opportunity to pitch a Batman story to him to possibly do at DC. That was awesome. It didn't work out, but like, fuck yeah, man. That was super cool. I'll be ingratiated to him my whole life. And he's also responsible for some of my favorite stories ever. Flash Iron Heights. Really, really great one. It's like a prestige format, which is like a 48-page kind of thing. Really, really awesome. Drawn by him. And the Flash Rebirth shit's awesome. Anyway. And then like, my connection to John Malin is I've seen some of his art and it looks nice. And he's friends with Mark Polton. And I love Mark. Mark's a great friend of mine. So, I'm not going to disavow my friend because this is really like a good segue. It's funny into what we're talking about today. I'm not going to disavow my friend because of especially when I know that he's not a bad person and, and there's a similar sort of like, he's not going to disavow his friends. It's really stupid. So, I try to stay out of that shit. And, I'm friends with people on all sides. I usually go on my buddy John Word Balloon's podcast and promote my stuff over there. And he's a good friend of mine. And, he's dealing with all the people that Comicsgate hates. And I don't hate anybody. I do think some people aren't particularly talented, and some people are particularly talented, and my tastes do align more with Comicsgate's taste than my tastes align with the mainstream's taste because they're out of their fucking minds. Really, the mainstream comics and who's been allowed to rise to the top, the personalities that have been allowed to get work are not the talented people. They are the people who are the pushiest and the most willing to play the game based on their identity. If I wanted to, I could have came out as non-binary, which is like, I'm on the LGBT. I don't like the fucking boxes. I talk about this shit only to fucking blow it up. But I hate the fucking boxes because I don't like that non-binary term. I do absolutely, really 100% relate to it, but every fucking person is a unique snowflake, and so am I. And I don't want to be in your fucking stupid box. And that's the reason why the LGBTQ plus, it just keeps fucking going, and it will just keep fucking going. There's just an infinite way of describing those things. Like I always say, the they, them thing is actually wonderful. That is a simplification of an overcomplication being made in the language that isn't necessary. Yeah, I'm down with that. We are human. They, them. Cool. But as soon as you go they, them, and Zimzer and Zim, what the fuck? What the fuck are you talking about? We're either talking about simplifying the thing, bringing us together, or we're talking about adding a fucking 1,000. No, fuck you. That's so stupid. That's so fucking stupid. And I don't like this idea of like me getting work because I'm fucking non-binary. Like fuck that shit. You'll have to look up what non-binary means. But, well, I'll explain. Non-binary basically means that I didn't really identify with my sex. Like, I was a boy, but I didn't really feel like that meant anything to me at all. I always felt very like, okay, so I'm a boy, huh? I definitely felt like I was sort of just like scouting out what that meant for a long time. Boy. My mom was dressing me and shit, so like I'm just like, my boy. Was okay. My boy. And my nature is a lot more feminine. And so I look for girls who are tough. But like, I like to look good. I'm a Virgo, if you know what that means. And my the girls that I really fall in love with tend to be very tough themselves. Beautiful, but tough. I like women who are tough because I'm a little soft. I'm creative and I like to do creative things and I love things and I'm very empathetic and sensitive and the whole fucking list. Anyway, there was a moment in time where like I was being advised. Yeah, I shouldn't have said being advised. We were sort of being asked like by agents and so many people in a way that I would call fishing. And I just remember this now, and it's making me laugh because I can remember being asked the question, going, "Wow, they're really like fishing for it." it was like ollie ollie oxen free. If you're gay, now's the time to come out of the closet because you'll get more work. It really was funny. It was a funny time. I remember my brothers and I remember the overarching idea of the thing, and I don't remember if they were producing a show and they were having a difficult time. Yeah, okay. I'm thinking I'm remembering it now. So they were producing a show, and it was like, I don't know, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. And they were having difficulty getting it across the board, across like the finish line, as is like the case for so many things. And I don't know for certain if it was this, there was like a Monsters Rock thing that my brother Shane was producing with my dad for maybe Netflix or something like that. So they had done like a lot of work on it. My brother had done like rewrite after rewrite after rewrite. And I don't know if they did end up figuring out a different way to do this too. I think they probably did. But obviously it's not actually never happened, as so many of these things fucking just never work out. But I had just been on another production, and I don't remember what it was we started working on. I think it was a geek culture entertainment show, something like that, but like for TV. And I was working with a friend of mine who works with me on Food Paradise, who's a writer, who's like a real opposite of mine, kind of reminds me of my brother Shane. And I thought, good working dynamic, and we'll get good stuff out of both of us. And my friend Andrew. But Andrew is white and male, right? And he says to me at some point, because I'm like really innocent about this stuff. I'm like, I swear, this is how it happened. Because I don't think about this shit at all. And he goes, well, look, man, we can't have you and I as the fucking people because like we'll never be able to get it across the plate right now. And I said, what do you mean? And he was like, well, they're just not taking pitches, like or accepting things from white guys. And he goes, there are some up and coming, female writers who have been willing to sort of take on multiple projects and put their name on them and come in for the meetings and stuff to help the things happen and them get experience. And there's some cool people who we might be able to interview for the project. So I go, okay, cool. So we end up interviewing with a lady. I think we're FaceTiming, and I'm just looking at like the shit that she's got behind her, and she's got a bunch of Muppet stuff, and I'm a big Muppet guy, and a couple other little things that denote like what she's read and like what she's been enjoying, and I'm like loving her, and I'm like we have a really good vibe and stuff, but then it ends up coming back a couple weeks later. Two things. One, Andrew gets another job, so we end up, the work that we were doing on this kind of gets like paused for a second, or paused for forever, because I end up kind of moving, and we haven't been able to work on it since. But and I kind of replaced it by doing Coolest Geek Alive at a certain point in time. But the other thing was our girl, she had already had 7 or something like that pilots that she was attached to, and there was 5 others that she was like trying to get approved, and she had to deny them all, including ours. Like their agency, they were like, you can't attach yourself to any more. So this one girl was attached to 15 different projects. So I told my brother and my father, maybe just to like get it across the board, you ask Cheyenne if she'll just put her name on it and help you guys sell it. And I think they were already maybe in the beginning of the suggestion process of them trying to get some girl, because I think that was part of it too. They were looking for a girl, but they weren't able to get one. And then I think at some point they did. I seem to remember my brother being very like, I've done so much fucking work on this show, and this woman is going to get all the credit for this show if it goes. And it just seems like such an injustice. And I mean, that's what the business has become right now. It's very, very weird and, and fucking racist, as Nerdrotic might say. It's so crazy. They're trying to fucking cancel him on fucking YouTube for being a racist and all these things. Dude, he is a comedian. He is funny as fuck. And he's just calling them out so hard on everything they're doing. He's counteracting their PR machine, and that just does not work for these people. But he is not violent, I think was like something said in one of these articles, whatever. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. He's funny as fuck. Nerdrotic. If you like watch YouTube, fucking Nerdrotic is funny. And this is the world we're living in, of like these like microaggression bullshit of like, oh, that's racist, that's racist. Well, meanwhile, like legitimate racist shit's going on. My brothers are very talented. My brother Cody was finally, had it admitted to him, you can't hire you for this job because you're white and straight. Oof, like it's just like such bullshit. I knew that it was going on, but like, I never made a stink about it because I was just sort of like, well, whatever. What's meant to be was meant to be. But I do remember, I think I've told this story before, I changed my name in the way I submitted my voiceovers to Jesse Blaze for a minute. And I booked a gig. But then I got like really kind of aggravated about that. And I went back to Jesse Snider. Because I was like, that's racist. And my talent should supersede this racism or something like that. Because generally speaking, it's not like they're going to fucking see me or anything. Like so many different things are done just through emails now. And that's half the reason why the business has gotten a little lighter for myself. Because you would meet a casting director, and a casting director could ask you a couple questions, give you some direction, make you change up, and you would have to demonstrate that you were capable of that. And you'd have to demonstrate that you were charming and easy to work with and could take direction easily. And I could. So I would always get just glowing reviews from casting directors. They would go, Jesse's really great. He takes great direction. He can give it to you a lot of ways. He can go fast, he can go slow, he can go low, he can go high. I can do legal. I'm like, I can speak really fast. But I would get a lot of work that way. When it switched into MP3s, and then it opened up into so many different websites that are just like making it easy for novices to audition for things, the art of really good voiceover actors who can just do anything with their voice, which I generally can, has been lost. And I've worked in every field. I've worked in commercials has like been my big thing. I've made six figures as the voice of Pizza Hut and GameStop and Cheetos, and last one was Kia Motors. Buying a Kia is one smart move. Or how about, want more taste? Get America's favorite pizza, Pizza Hut, now online. Or pre-order Madden, get good sooner. GameStop, power to the players, right? And I'm the voice of Food Paradise. I do narration. I've done some video games. I did Final Fantasy and some other big games. I don't remember which ones they were. Only a few games, not a lot of games. They're all like their own individual industry, and it's kind of like remarkable, I've been told, that I've worked in so many of them, kind of with ease. And I could have gotten deeper into all of them, and at certain points in time, it looked like I might have. And then, like I said, there's been a real wall for white males, and when it went up, I definitely saw a decline in my hiring, even though there was gigs that I still have and gigs that have been going on, like, the Food Paradise gig, which technically is still my gig, even though we haven't been able to do a season in a minute because there's been a lot of shuffling over at Discovery and stuff. So they haven't gotten to the part where they look at like their ongoing shows and, green light things. Really, nothing's been greenlit over there in like a couple of years, I guess. Anyway, but I've done some books on tape, did some cool little Star Wars things like for kids and stuff. That was fun. And what are the other like avenues? Oh, promos, like for TV. Done tons of promos for different companies. Narrations, I said, like for Smithsonian Channel, though I used to do a lot of their shows. There's some cool shows I did for them. It's a show called Trashopolis, if you could ever find it. It's fucking awesome. I love narrating things that are like documentary type stuff. Animation. I've done some animation. I did one of those. I did the Judge Dredd short that they put out. Ari Shakar had put it out, and I'm like the original voice of Judge Sidney, and that was fun. And I did like an Amazon movie that was like an animatic. It's not quite a movie. What was it called? Burma Rising. I think you can still find it on Amazon. It's pretty good though. And I was up for the lead in a Disney animated series. I went out for Broadway stuff for a short period of time, and I was up for the lead in a lot of big plays. I didn't have any experience dancing, and I was a little stiff at that point in time. It was before I ever smoked any marijuana at 28, and loosened up a little bit. I was very stiff. That was why everybody told me that I needed to smoke marijuana at 28, because I was very stiff, and I was very, I had a lot of anxiety. so it helped me not have so much anxiety. But yeah, I've been all around the business, and it definitely, this racism is real. It's a real thing that has sprung up, and I am a genuinely talented voiceover person who made it on merit for a very long time, and still was surviving with the the MP3 generation and whatnot, especially because I had so many friends in the business. But it got to a certain point where they couldn't hire me, and most people don't tell you that, but I have been told that, like, sorry, Jess, it's just harder to get you things. I have a really great friend of mine, Jocelyn Filman, who's like one of the biggest fucking casting directors in Hollywood. She is responsible for like the Jersey Shore, like putting together that group and casting those people, Snooki and the fucking Situation, and like so many others. I mean, like, so many, if you're a reality TV fan, like she's responsible for so many people that you like who have been on shows and stuff. And Jocelyn adores me. She loves rock music, and if you've never seen my music, I'm a pretty good performer, and she just thinks I'm the bee's knees, and has been trying to sort of get me various gigs for ages. I've submitted so many things with her on my side. And, the casting directors just don't really have the power. They can submit people, they can suggest people, but ultimately it comes down to the other people. And for a while, it's been very anti-white. And, she told me that a long time ago. So, and I have seen the writing on the wall to various degrees. Like in comics, it's been going on for a while, because it became this thing of everybody was clearly being cast because the PR department wanted a PR win of like, look what we did now, and look what we did now, and look what we did now, and look what we did now. And it became a machine of like, look at this new, and like, so that meant new writers, especially, were really, a new artist. If your art was good enough, that could break on through. You could get well liked through another project or something. But another project more visually, another writer, they just weren't bringing in anybody who was like that. And, basically Marvel and DC are like the big platforms anyway, but I was already like done with them. So like for me, when it was happening, I was like, one more reason to say, fuck those people, because I was just like, I was so over it. And that's why I did my own independent comic book company. And thank you if you're out there and you helped us raise our, $12,000+ on Kickstarter. Me and Dizzy Arnold are so fucking over the moon and excited. And we know there's going to be even more. Oh, and if you're late to the thing there and you want to get in on Fucking for Our Future, which is so funny, or the previous book, which is also great, King of Kings, which we'll be working on we already drew issue number 2. We're going to be working on coloring a couple things for the preview for King of Kings Kickstarter in a couple months. If you want to get down, you can go to www.bldsts.com, Blacklight District Studios, bldsts.com. If you go there, you can sign up for notifications. There's a store more deeply set up in the thing, and there's there's back issues of King of Kings from earlier in the year, and those ones, just it's the same price that everybody paid on the Kickstarter when it was up. And we got a pre-order for our original book that, like, the company's named for, Blacklight District Studios, that came out through Image Comics in 2016. And yeah, life is good. Anyway, I love you. You love me. But these fucking assholes are vexing me. Because all of this racism is bullshit. There's a guy recently who said, and it's not exactly true, but it's true to some degree, that basically the C-suite jobs, the higher up jobs, were only being given to white Jewish guys, and I would not say only, but I would say they're on the menu, and that there's a more select crop of people who are actually being brought into those jobs, and they do include white guys, even though there's this lower tier that they're creating, who have basically gotten rid of the white guys, or the guys who have been there for a very long time, as we've seen in the Disney tapes that James O'Keefe released. You can go check out some of those things. He doesn't feel like he has any upward mobility in his job where he's at, because he's not one of those C-suite guys, and he can only go so far. And I think that's been the case for a lot of these people, and a lot of the people have generally felt very unwelcome for a long time. They've been forced out over time, and a lot of people have just been like, this is like an unwelcoming environment, and have left. There's some great talent at independent companies, and I'm interested to see what these independent companies are going to do in the future. That's one of the reasons why, I'm working so hard to get my independent company going right now, because there really is a pathway. There's some people like the Rippaverse, who have exploded onto the scene, and I'm very happy for them. And I'm so glad that they're putting some of these great people to work. And, I wish that it was somebody who had a little bit more of a track record of making comic books and was a little bit more experienced, so that the quality might stand to be a little higher than it largely seems to be, and what I hear, because I can't say that I've read too much myself, only a little preview here, there, or whatever. But still, I wish I was creative directing for them on some level. But I'm already committed to my own thing, and we'll see. And actually, if I ever met up with Ripa, I might suggest some people, or try to guide him in a positive direction. I don't see any reason why his company shouldn't be very successful. But there are some great independent comic book people who have, I think, been doing good work for a long time, that, could have used a few $1 million. I think that's why people like Ethan Skyver are a little bitter. I'm not bitter about it, but I want to see the best comics in the medium that I can see. And like, the more visible something is, the more I want it to be really great. I want people to pick it up and go, this is fucking great. And I don't know if these books have necessarily been that, based on what I've heard in terms of the conversation. But, but people were looking to hate on them at the same time. So, they're maybe they're not getting a fair shake. At some point, I will get my chance to get my hands on them, and I'm going to read. But all this is to say that this business is fucked. And I'm calling on you, and and maybe I'll make it myself this week when I get there, if nobody does or something, but we need to hold Disney to fucking account for this bullshit that they are looking to perpetrate right now. Okay? I'm warning you what it is. They have made a helmet for the Falcon, for Captain America Volume 3 in the comics, Volume 2 here. Captain America as the Falcon. He's got a helmet. I'm telling you why they're doing this. Back in the day, when The Force Awakens was released, Finn, the black possible Jedi, was on the poster and he was sized up. For the release in China, they shrunk him down to itty bitty. Worse, for the Black Panther poster, T'Challa is without his mask, which I'd rather him be in his mask. But on the American posters, he's without his mask because they believe that that's a better way to sell it. And in China, he's in his mask. Okay. They have now created a helmet for the Black Captain America. What do you think they are going to do with that helmet on these Captain America posters? Make a big enough stink about it so that they're forced to make their posters awful and Captain America's not even on their fucking poster or some such, because don't let them do this. This is that you can't be the guiding light and moral fucking, telling us what to fucking do morally about every other thing, and then allow China to be fucking racist. Like, we're supposed to be leading the way and making cool things to demonstrate how fucking cool it is to be diverse and all these other things, even though our freaking diversity and inclusion is terrible representation. We're so often making everybody one note. We're not having our women and our racial minorities and our gays work hard enough to earn the things, because we're treating them very differently. When they're gay, we're making it all about their fucking sex life. When they're women, we're making them completely sexless and stoic, and we're not putting them through enough. We're just kind of giving them everything. They're already perfect, and the racial minorities are just kind of one note, and it's just, granted, there are exceptions to every rule, and that's great that like some great things are coming out of this thing. There's a renaissance, I'm sure, of ethnically diverse casts and whatever else that are really cool. I've seen some of them, like some like Atlanta or something like that, but in the general, it just ends up being a fucking wash, because people are just casting their writers and their directors and their actors and their filmmakers, and just the whole storylines are being kind of cast, and like they're being picked. Ooh, that's the type of story we want to tell. That's the type of story we want to tell, because that will allow us to do the other things that we want to do. So it all ends up just being like really racist, and it's quite racist against white people. Whatever. I don't really give a shit about that. My work will get by, independently, because it's fucking great. And, and I know that you guys, if you check out the BLDSTS.com website and check out the books and fucking get the stuff, like, you will be thrilled. And please do, because, I don't have my hands in my dad's pocket or whatever else. I'm a father of 4 who's divorced, and, I have to travel a lot for all this stuff, and, I'm really like trying to build a business. So it's like, it's really hard, and building the business goes really slow. When it's $12,000, we'll all make a little bit of money, and and I'm thrilled about it. But if we made $100,000, oh my god, there's so much things that I could do with that, and it wouldn't be like buying myself freaking jewelry. It would just be like being able to breathe for a second, and actually really being able to like get the business going, and be a little bit more consistent in putting things out, where it's every month instead of every 3 months right now, kind of thing. And I'm hoping it's going to be every 3 months. I might get delayed, but like, hopefully I won't. But when you're not having like all the money in the world, it's slow going. So yeah, if you want to help somebody who knows how to do it and is trying to do it right and trying to make the type of stuff that they'll make fucking incredible movies and TV shows of in the future, even though that's not my focus. Focus is making really great shit. You make great shit, and and let it percolate for a while. And I'd like to make them, I'd like to produce them, let other great people make them, but like produce them myself. So I'd rather like, make great comics, make money, and then as we can, make something cool, produce some great stuff, maybe the major people distribute us or whatever. We'll see what happens when we get there at the time. But like, support Blacklight District Studios now and help us out. And fuck this fucking Disney shit. It's just such hypocrisy. They're sitting here and they're telling you, you got to be, like I'm just a punk, and for me, punk rock, we were punching Nazis, and now it's gotten to a point where it's like fashionable to say you punch Nazis. There's a lot of people punching Nazis, and then like a lot of us people who are really punk rock, like, we read a little bit more deeply into like the fucking Nazis, and the Nazis and the black supremacists and the fucking religious supremacists and so many other people who seem crazy. They all believe the same thing, that there is a fucking organized effort to suppress them, a powerful secret hand running society, keeping them at bay. And they're all right. They're all right. If they all shared notes with each other, the Nazis and the black supremacists and the religious supremacists, they'd all get fucking together. They'd kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. They'd be like, we're right. We're right. See, look, oh my God, he's got the other piece of the map I have been writing about all these fucking fucked up things they do. See, they also did fucked up things to me and my grandfather and his grandfather and my grandfather. Right? This says the German guy. Right, because if you go listen to like a German, well, a lot of them are ex-German, not Nazi. Their parents were Nazis, so they'll go. My father was a good man, and he wouldn't have done any of these things that they say, and it's this evil organization, and they're trying to like poison your mind, and they exaggerated the crimes of the Nazis and blah 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 blah. And some of that's probably true. In every war, every atrocity, all the things, history is fucking tricky, man. You really start to investigate history and you'll see all sorts of things are exaggerated and basically written by powerful people and people who have interest in things and stuff. So it gets very difficult to completely trust that. And so and it's not just necessarily that Nazi guy or there's a lot of people, and it's generally all the same thing. There will also be people who are going, as a white man who's poor, I've been abandoned in favor of focusing on minorities. They never actually succeed at doing anything. They put all this money into the system. The money gets stolen away. Nobody gets helped. And I'm still up shit's creek. And it's all this fucking powerful people at the top just distracting us, and nothing ever gets done. Right? Then the black supremacists, they'll talk about how their history has been stolen from them. And there's a decent amount of evidence for this, that essentially they're the Israelites, they're the lost tribe of Israel, they're the original Jews of the Bible. And that history has been obscured one way or another. And even like looking at it and like bringing it up, like connecting them to their true culture that, I can't begin to tell you, but I'm sure they can begin to tell you about, but I've looked into a few of these people talking about their thing. But again, it's their history being subverted, perhaps people that they know being killed because they were trying to like promote this information to the black population, things like that. Similar things you'll see in the Nazi black white supremacist thing. Similar things you might see in the guys who you would consider like non-revolution people, non-evolution, like religious people who rode with dinosaurs, and some of the things that these guys say, very interesting. And for me, it's always about, it's not about the conclusion that they've come to being true or wrong, true or false. It's about what information have they dug up that has made them feel like they've got a bone, and they're going to bury it where it belongs. I find that the conspiracy theory is often a bone buried in the wrong place. But it's a bone, and there's often way more than a bone with everything. So, and when you go talk to any of these guys, listen to any of these, I mean, I've never talked to anybody personally, but, just open myself to go listen to a bunch of them, see what they're really saying. Are these people, is it really, because I think racism is so stupid. So for me, I'm like, really, are there really people out there who just think because you're black, you're inferior to me? Because I think that's so dumb. Are there really people out there who think just because, and to some degree there is, but it's like they're constantly trying to pit us against one another. And, when the people are talking about the white man who's getting them down, it's a small group of white men at the tippy top. And none of this movement has gotten to them. When Mel Gibson goes off about the fucking Jews in the film industry, it's a relatively small group of Jews in the industry. It's not this like, it's not all the Jews. It's the people running the industry. And they're all doing it the same way. And a lot of them are Jews. I'm quarter Jewish. I'm Jewish by blood. What's the one that I am? I don't know. My dad did the DNA thing a little while ago, and he came back with like some of our information. Not is it Ashkenazi Jew? Maybe it is. But I wasn't raised that way, but I have a lot of friends who are Jewish, wonderful people who are Jewish. But that doesn't change the fact that, yeah, there are some really unscrupulous Jewish businessmen doing some business or whatever, and there are some really unscrupulous white guys at the tippy top of the power structure of things. I'm not a part of that. I seem to be being affected a lot by this DEI and all this other stuff. They don't really seem to be. And pointing out that there were white guys at the tippy top of the thing was not wrong and was a reasonable thing. Shooting the people in the face who did look like the people at the top of the power structure, that was the wrong fucking thing. And that's what's happening right now. And similarly, I think there's like this thing of like, which was like kind of worse in a lot of ways, where like, when Mel Gibson or Kanye West or whatever says like, there's like a mafia of some Jewish people who are fucking me up, people are like, he's a anti-Semite. Well, he's dealing with a group that is connecting themselves together through their religion, and all of these freaking groups around all these fucking groups, secret society groups all around the fucking world. It's how these businesses are done, particularly in the entertainment business and so many others in the music business. It's sickening. I've been doing a show now called Everything They Don't Want You to Know, where I've talked about that I've been invited into the Illuminati, like to play parties for them and it's real, guys. It's a real thing. And, this is why we have to support independent things and buy independent produce and get independent products and like fuck this system as it is and go try to get out of it as best we can. It's really like behooves us to do that and like live off the grid as much as we can. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare system that we're in. And it's filled with the hypocrisy of Disney covering up Chadwick Boseman because, well, the Chinese communist people won't like that. Like, fuck that shit. Either we are doing the thing where we're demonstrating the beauty and positive reality of diversity, which I do think has absolute merit, and it should not be a breaking point that Falcon was black and now Captain America is black. He was in the other movies, and I'm pretty sure they promoted those to China. So I think it seems just so stupid And should this be an entry point into it? Or are they just designing a helmet just in case? What are they going to do? Whatever they're going to do, I think you guys should be watching. And I think we should say, fuck this shit. And, not let them pull their bullshit that they like to pull. Anyway, I love you all. Talk soon. Bye-bye. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, join me every Monday night for All Your Favorite Bands Suck. And you can join me on Saturday for another fucking awesome episode of this show. But of course, join me next Wednesday where we'll be talking about God knows what. But fight the fucking power. Call Disney out on this bullshit. They're lame. You're cool. We're cool. Tell them don't fucking put a fucking helmet on him. Keep your fucking poster the way it should be. Don't be tool bags. I got to run and do another show, but I love you guys, and this was fun. Or maybe I should wrap this up like in another thing. But no, I said everything that I was going to say. I was getting ready to end it. I just realized it got late. Anyway, I love you guys. Please join me again this coming Saturday and next Wednesday for another fucking awesome episode of The Coolest Geek Alive. Love you guys. Care Bear Stare. Peace.
Hey, it's my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it. Say, it's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah. It's my favorite part. Isn't it heavy? I played that. Coolest alive.
You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snider. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.